There's a very high prevalence of non-communicable diseases in the Caribbean, especially those affecting mobility, like arthritis, for instance. And they negatively impact the quality of life, our ability to work and play. So, particularly for those of us who are over 35, we need to discuss what are the most important things we should be doing to protect and care for our joints. So let's talk joint care today. Do you aspire to an uncomplicated and fulfilling way of life? I'm Diane Squires, aka Deanne. That's what all my friends call me. I'm an island woman living on the island of Barbados and walking my path to a big and simple life. Walk with me and learn with me. Welcome to the Island Woman Podcast. I have with me today again Carla Ramsay, our nutritionist from the National Nutrition Center in the Ministry of Health and Wellness in Barbados. So, Carla, let's talk about the top three things. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I am now 51, and so I am now familiar with, I don't know, phantom joint pain. That's what I want to call it, right? But I do know that from the time I was small, you would hear, as we would say, the old people say, oh, I do it all right, but the aches and pains. I didn't know until now that some of those aches and pains are really like genuinely joint pains. And I wasn't aware of how you could manage them or how you could prepare for this point in time of your life. So let's talk joint care today. And if you could for us, I would love for you to highlight three of the things, especially for those of us who are over 35, who need to be thinking more carefully now about our joints.
I will start by saying before 35 even. That's a bit late. It's something that we should start thinking about from our teen years. But once you are in charge of your own diet and preparing your own foods is something you need to think about. First, anti-inflammatory, what we call anti-inflammatory foods. Foods which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, I know supplements you can get supplements, but you can get it naturally occurring. And you get it from what we call fatty fish, which is like your mackerel, your salmon, your sardines. You can get it from flaxseed, chia seeds, or walnuts. So those are dietary sources of your anti-inflammatories. You want to have a lot of what we call like brightly colored. You remember we always talk about eat the rainbow, brightly colored foods which have the antioxidant properties which goes along with your anti-inflammatory foods. So your berries, your dark green leafy vegetables, the prettier the better. I realize that cherries, our Bajan cherries, are in and stirring. Get some of that. But you're looking for a colorful produce. So when we talk about eat the rainbow, eat a variety of colors, your reds, your greens, your yellows, your purples, your blues. Yeah. Two, you have to maintain adequate protein intake. Um, you will see, if you watch a lot of social media, you see the push for having adequate protein intake. And what we realize, or what I would have noticed, is that a lot of persons tend to reduce their protein intake as they got older. They'll say, oh, they feel it chewing that amount, or that feels like a bit. But you need to maintain your protein intake so that you maintain your muscle. I also maintain, because remember, your muscle, your bones, your tendons, everything works together. So, and your protein is also there for repair. So you want to maintain adequate protein, and then outside of that, adequate vitamin C and vitamin D. Yes, we have sunshine, but sometimes our melanin blocks it, or vitamin D absorption. But get an adequate dietary vitamin D plus going outside. Your vitamin C, as I mentioned before, our Bajan cherries are in. Guavas are also a good source. The ones oranges, any citrus fruits, dark green leafy vegetables. Also, you're looking for a variety that you want to have.
Okay, so if we go back a little bit, we're talking about joint care. Joint care, we know the joints as, I guess, your elbow joint, your knee joint, but then there are also the small joints, the fingers, the toes. You've got the shoulders, which might be bigger. You've got your neck and your spine, all over the body. You talked specifically though about muscles. I want to go back to that. How is it that the muscles are going to help with any or preventing or protecting our joints? Just want to stay on that for a little bit.
Okay. Think of your basic movement. You have to move, so your muscles help you in moving. Think of a person getting older, and you can see basically when their muscle structure is not there. They seem to a little looser and flatter. But this is not in my forte, but a trainer's forte. You can ask your trainer about it. But maintaining stronger muscles help you to move better. Yeah. And as
Okay.
women, we lose muscle certain percentage as we age. That's why I said 35 is a bit late to start. Because as we hit the 40 range, there's a certain percent we tend to lose per year. So you
Mhm.
generally encourage women to weight train, or what we call a resistance train, from early. Don't wait till your us age. To your wait to start young. Start young as much as possible. Your protein helps you to repair your muscle repair, and also to build your muscle. So you want to start that before 35, Diane.
Okay. All right.
As possible.
We way past the, the game. So we got some work to do.
Yes.
So we're eating the rainbow. We're making sure that we get adequate protein so that our muscles are there to be stronger in helping us to move. And we're getting our vitamin C and vitamin D. What really is the reason from a nutritional standpoint that we see we get these joint aches and pains? Is it just all the lack
Yes,
of those vitamins?
deficiency. And to be honest, the nutrients don't work independently. They work very cohesively. So we can have a over intake of one, which may push another one out. But that's when we talk about eating balance, so that we get things from a food and we know where we're getting and how much we're getting. So we can compensate or supplement if we need to. Yeah, we kind of need to do it. We don't eat enough. Research has shown, even from the last food consumption survey, and it's not a Barbados thing, it's really a worldwide thing. Research
Mhm.
shows that we do not eat sufficient fruits and vegetables. We do not ever meet our quota. I was actually reading the UK's last survey, and it was quite surprised. They do not meet. If you are asking for five, the average person height end is three. Three
So
centimeters.
what can we do here in Barbados? We talked about cherries being in season, and we're having this conversation in the month of June. So we're into these summer months in Barbados. And I know when I was young, we would get the golden apples, cherries, a whole lot of fruit during the summer months. Initially, when we talked about her about breadfruit last time, we talked about how you can store those things. So, what are the possibilities for us when we get fruits like our mangoes and all the things that might be in season? How can we be looking at storing those things so that we're getting the adequate nutrition that we need for our joints specifically?
You can store at peak freshness. Your freezer is a great source to do it. I usually tell persons, if you have a mango tree, don't try to eat all one time. We can freeze it at different stages of ripeness. They can come in your smoothie. Some people make sorbets with them. Some people may add them to their shakes. When they're fresh, we can add them to salads. We can eat it as a fresh fruit. So there's a variety of ways. The kids, you can make popsicles in the summer months, or what we call the ice lollies. So there are various ways that you can use and utilize and keep them stored. Same like the breadfruit. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I do think that sometimes, like I said, growing up, I feel like people take it for granted that you have to have joint pain as you grow older. Is that true? Does it have to be that way?
You may have some aspect of it. Our lives right now are very sedentary. We tend to sit a lot, which adds to that problem. We don't move adequately, which lends to that problem. For some reason, we don't stretch. Remember when we were kids, we could touch our toes and we can bend in all kind of directions. We have moved away from play, which we need to do as much as possible. So it's not that we have to. We can kind of prevent the severity of it if we eat adequately, plus pair that with movement. We have to move.
Okay, great. So I think what we'll do, Carla, is of course we'll have on the screen a lot of those foods that you said would be important for joint care, and we'll leave those in the description box for you guys. But I want to know from the audience who's like me experiencing the phantom joint pains, and what are you doing about it? Are you as old as I am but still experiencing joint pain? Older than I am, same age as I am and experiencing joint pain? Have you never had this problem before? I want to hear from you. All right, we want to hear from all of you. I am so thankful again to you, Carla, for talking to us about joint care, especially over the age of 35. Although we know now we need to advise those younger people that they need to be thinking about their joint health so much earlier. So thank you for that. But that's it for this episode, our second episode of season one and of the health and wellness series. If you've made it to the end of this episode with us, thank you so much for taking the time. If you liked it, share it with a friend or leave a comment or both. And if you watched it on YouTube, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Remember to click the bell icon to get notified every time a new video goes live. Thank you for joining me and Carla on the Island Woman podcast. I'm your Island Woman, Diane Squires, aka Deanne. Until next time, peace.